Okay, so I'm here, so let me see if I can see who's coming on. Hello, hello. I'm starting the live here. So, hello, you get on here. I don't see anybody on yet, so you get on here. Say hi. You might end up watching the replay if you don't get on the live, so type in replay so I know that you got to see it. I am going to see if I can, excuse me just a moment, if I can do a couple of technical things here to help the process. Just a moment. Anybody on yet? Say hi. Hi, where are you from? Okay, so we're not going to do that. Okay, hi. Thanks for joining. So I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes. Yeah. Say hi, where you're from. Let's just wait a couple of moments before we start. I know there'll be some people live, and some of the ladies will get to watch replay, and I know it takes a few minutes. So, yeah, so tell me where you're from. Say hi, what's your name? I'm going to try to watch the comment section a little bit here while I'm doing the live. So thank you for joining if you've just got on here. Awesome. So yes, so this is the Ignite Your Feminine Genius Magnetism. Hi, thanks for joining. Yes, yes. So where are you from? I think I see Ronnie and Raja. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. Please forgive me. Where are you guys calling in from, dialing in from, logging in from? I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. So it is 5 p.m. here. And yeah, it's already getting warm here. Where are you guys calling in from? I'm going to wait a couple moments just to see if some other ladies can come on live. I'm sure they'll be logging in as they get going. So if you have a journal, you might want to have your journal. I'm going to, give you some content that you might want to write down and take away with you, and I'll probably give you some homework. So during the 5-day challenge, we're going to spend about an hour together. This first day, I'll try not to go over, but it's probably a little bit more on this first day just to introduce everything. But you might want to make notes and stuff you can take away with you and refer to later, and then I'll probably give you something to take away with, something simple but powerful to help you. So grab refreshment. I have my water. You might want to grab you something, and yeah, lock the door and be in a quiet space. Oh, you're in Phoenix too, Ronnie. Okay, awesome. Are we neighbors? I'm in the North Valley. I'm way north of the valley, so it's a very big city spread out, right, with all the suburbs and stuff. So you could be like 75 miles away from me and still be somewhere in the city of Phoenix or the outlying areas, right? So yeah, so okay. So I think I'll start. I know some more will join in, and there will be a replay. So what I'm going to do is I'll have this video each day will come in at this time, every day this week, 5 days, and it'll replay in here in the group. So for the gals that might miss it, and then I'll delete it after 24 hours each day. But if you're on the email list, so if you did register by the email, then of course you've got updates and probably a few of those. But I'll send you a link to the video there. And if you registered at the end, I have a bonus, something extra for you. Partly we're going to do here, but you'll get a full version of it at the end. So anyway, so welcome. So yeah, so just get present and be in this journey with me, and yeah. Oh, I can't see what you said. Oh, you're far too. Yep. It's not hard to be far when we're in Phoenix, right? So thank you for being here. Yeah, so just be present and let me introduce myself. So I'm Teresa Sahi, Feminine Genius and Relationship Dating Coach for Women. And it's about The feminine genius is about being in our feminine zone of everything we do. And it's really about being connected to our inner self, our inner power, to be really aligned with all the abundance, the divine that we have out in the world, but to connect that within ourselves, to be confident, to have our personal power. It's an internal power, to really be kind of in our groove of life. And so I call it the genius part because, well, because we are geniuses, but it's in a different way. It's a kind of a mind, body, spirit is how I see it. And the world kind of takes us away from our inner being of the woman, the feminine part of ourselves. And so I'm going to talk more about that. But I really want you, each of you ladies that join us, to really know that this is an embodiment of love. And yes, in this group is about relationships. And so I definitely help women to attract the right man, a quality man, a deserving man, because she deserves it, because you deserve it. And so even though, I don't know, everybody comes from a different place, right? So I'm reading some of the comments from some of the ladies, and when you join the group, you know, introducing yourself. And I know that everybody's on their different path, and some are seeking the right partner. Some have been with the right partner or thought it was the right partner and something went wrong. And so there could be a lot of heartache going on. And then some are married and wanting to maybe reconnect at a deeper level or to understand more about the connection, to take it even further. So that's what we're going to talk about, those elements as well. So yes, so I decided that this was my calling. And it was from my own personal experience. So after my second divorce, yes, my second divorce, you know, there's a lot going on with divorce, right? So the first one I had my child, so it was a blessing there for sure. And then number two, and then that fell apart, and it was very, very hard. Very, very hard, because that was very short term, and we divorced while we were still in love, because he wanted me to choose between him and my daughter. So we know that's not going to happen. A man can never ask a woman that. So there's a lot of things to that. But through that, I realized, well, okay, so I was the common denominator. So I just went on a journey of self-development, right? And kind of like my spiritual journey, got reconnected with divine, went to church, a spiritual church, and I just really, you know, needed to figure out me. And that doesn't mean that, you know, he didn't have faults or they didn't have faults, but I knew that there was something really missing for me. And so that started my journey. And then at that time, I was working in corporate America. I had a very successful career. It was in the travel industry. Now, it wasn't the glamorous side of the traveling. It was behind the scenes, and I had clients all over the world, and I had team members that worked for me all over the world, and it was a very high demanding job. So I was doing pretty good there, but over time, I just lost myself. I would, you know, go to those big meetings and, you know, the boardroom meetings, and then go back to my office and close the door and cry, and I drive to work in tears. I was just feeling so very disconnected. So at the same time, I was getting the divorce, you know, going through that, and just everything was falling apart for me. And it was during that disconnection at work is when I learned about the masculine and the feminine energies. And so I realized that in the environment that I was in, it's very masculine. And so I'm going to explain this more in depth as we go forward, but I'm just going to give you just an intro here about me so you know where I'm coming from. And so I learned that I was just really disconnected from myself. And so masculine, and so yes, it was mostly men, probably, my peers, but when I say masculine energy, it wasn't that I don't just necessarily mean men. There's an energy, and I'll explain that. But anyway, so that took me on the journey to really understand that. And so one thing led to another, and I eventually left there and got more and more understanding and training and knowledge through coaching and wanting to work with women and started my own business. And in the meantime, understanding the feminine, the masculine, how the energies work together, I embrace that more and more. And I eventually traveled, and I traveled to North Africa, and on the Mediterranean coast is where I met my now soulmate, who lives here in Phoenix with me. So I met him there on the Mediterranean coast. We dated on Skype for 9 months. And then after that, he traveled to the U.S. with the backpack, and we married a couple months later. And so he's still here with me now. So through all that, I learned so much about myself, of course, and what this different energy is and how we show up differently and how we all deserve love, and we go through different parts of our journey to finding love. I mean, the human race is based on love. Everything in our world is based on love and thrives on love. So it's of course we want more of it. We have so much to give. Hi, thanks for joining. Go ahead and say hi. You know, I think it would be nice that as I continue to do the introduction, if as you're saying hi and you're saying where you're from, I want you to just really like embody that love and to open your heart. Now this is a precious subject, right? And like I said, we're all at our different journey in it. Some kind of going through heartache, some seeking to be more expressive in it and seeking to find more of it and having so much to give and wanting to give it. And the truth of it is we are all amazing, loving women, and we deserve the best. So I think it's nice to kind of own that and say that, like, I am love, I am deserving of love, I am worthy, I am a giver, I am a receiver. Own your I am of who you are, because this is really about not a downward spiral and not a woe is me, but I'm a powerful woman, and that's what the feminine genius is. But our power is different within ourselves than it is of the masculine. And so just really want you to own that and feel that, and just know that we're all, you know, have commonality, that we want that, we want to receive it, we want to be supported, we want to give it, we want to be nurtured, and we deserve to have all that. And we have so much capacity to hold it. And so we're all on our journey to receive that, to be our best self. So it's really about attracting a high quality man to, and maybe you've attracted that man, but wanting to carry it forward or sustain it. And so it's really about being a high quality woman as well. And what I mean is to really be our best selves. There's no like, you know, we're not good enough and we have to fix ourselves all the time. But it's really just kind of up-leveling and up-leveling, because the more we go through life experiences, the more we have an opportunity to up-level ourselves. The more we can discover what we don't want and to get closer of the reality of what we do want and allow ourselves to receive it. So anyway, so on the journey, so my husband's here, and I started my coaching business to work with women because I really feel like it's my mission to be on this journey, to go through, walk through, to support other women. We have so much, like I said. And so anyway, so yes, so, and I think it's important to go back what I was saying about corporate, when I worked in corporate, and that's when I kind of had my epiphany and learned about the masculine and the feminine. And so here we are in this world, and there's so much going on. And so maybe you have, you know, heard the feminine energy, the feminine power, and, you know, understanding that to whatever degree you understand it. But this is what I want you to know. It's such a big opportunity for you and for me and for us to really understand where we're at on this evolutionary journey. It's really a time for us as women to really to be able to step out, to own our voices, to have our own business, to be successful, to do more than we've been able to do before. The world is opening up to the feminine. And so that to me is it's underneath what I do too, to know that journey. And so part of what's happening through that journey, as wonderful as it is, and to embrace the opportunity that's coming forward for you, for me, for all of us, is to understand that it can also, and it has also, has a detrimental effect on relationships. Okay, so yes, so and I'm going to keep explaining this as we go forward, so just bear with me here, and I'm going to unfold this for you. So I definitely work primarily with women that are over 40 that either have been married, going through a divorce, been single for a long time, wanting to venture back out there, wanting to understand, maybe have lost her confidence. And so the feminine genius is all about getting back to your core confident self, understanding who you are, what you really want at a very deep level. I mean, we all have desires, but sometimes they get squished down and we don't allow them to come to surface. So it's really uncovering those deep, deep, deep desires and allowing yourself the space to have that and to know that you can have that. And so when that happens, when we get in touch with ourself internally on a very deep level, then we can really come alive and we can really show up and radiate and magnetize out in the world. And so I'm talking here about magnetizing relationship harmony, about meeting the right man. But the truth of it is, when you're really connected to this inner source within you, it's magnetizing all the good that you deserve, all the opportunities, all the things that you desire. When you know what those are and you allow yourself to receive those and remove the blocks that have caused you to be hurt, to have been overlooked, or to be rejected, or to just feel like unworthy and not good enough, because absolutely that's not true, and it's a wall that maybe have got built up, or it's somebody else has maybe put a belief on you that's not yours. So we're going to peel back those layers so that you can truly have all of it. So, okay. All right, so yes, I'm just looking at my notes. So, all right, so let's just to describe, so magnetism. So I told you what the feminine genius is, and I'm going to continue to talk about that, okay? So magnetism, so yes, I guess we know magnets, right? So it magnetizes to us. But the truth of it is, we are all energy. Everything on the entire planet, the entire universe is energy. And so when we are, like you can rub your hands together, you can feel the energy within you. So when we're showing up in the world being a certain way, that comes from within us and energetically, and it exudes out of us. And we attract everything into our life based on our energy. So this is magnetic to us. And so we want to be magnetizing the things that we want, not the things that we don't want. We want to be conscious women, awakened women. That's what I mean. Awakened women is conscious women. We're understanding what we're exuding, what we're magnetizing to us, so that we continue to become more and more aware of that, to continue to up-level ourselves and to course correct when we need to, and to ensure that we're magnetizing to us exactly what we want, including him, including love, including long-term relationship harmony in all ways, okay? So, energy. So if you've heard of law of attraction, that's probably, you understand what I'm saying there too. What we think about, we bring about. Thinking in our head creates an energetic feeling in our body, and that's attracting to us. So what I mean when I'm talking about the feminine and the masculine, so I'm just going to keep checking the time. And this is where you might want to take notes, because I'm going to go over some things here that I'm going to read off some, I call them traits. And the traits create energy in our body. And so it's kind of like self-identifying and understanding ourselves. So we're having awareness today. This is a big awareness today. It's about becoming aware, because we can't change what we're not aware of. And it's about tuning in once we become aware and turning on more and more our feminine genius. And we'll keep unfolding this as the days go forward. So I don't think I really told you too much about the other days. So we're going to start here with awareness and tuning into that. Then we're going to embody more of it as the days go on. We're going to talk about appreciation on a whole different level, because I know you know what appreciation is. but it's about how we're broadcasting that. So it's more energy and how to up level that. I'm going to give you a very powerful exercise. It's about the masculine too. So the man we want to attract, the man that's in our life, the man we want to have more harmony with, to be seen by him. So it's understanding how we can have that connection. We're going to talk about, this is day 3, things that might have been putting us in a downward spiral, in drama, in disconnection with the masculine, that's repelling the love that we're not necessarily even aware of, or that we're not sure how to change up. We're going to talk about really being present in our being. So I'm going to do an embodiment exercise with you on Thursday. And so that will be being really present in your body. That will show up the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you listen, and that energy will exude out of you at all times, and how you can connect to it in an instant. And then on Friday, we're going to really dive into what is really attractive to a man. We'll do this along the way, but we're going to really dive into him so that we're in communication, we're meeting him, we're talking to him, we're really understanding him at a deep level. So all these things will unfold a little bit more each day. Okay. So, yeah, so it's about co-creation, right? So we have our energetic self, our own body here, who we are, and then we have the masculine, the male that we want to have in our life, right? And there's an energetic being there. So there's 2 energies right there. And then we want to have the third, which is the relationship together. So we're really co-creating 3 elements here. So just always keep that in mind, that we're our own separate beings, and so we all show up in our own way, and then with him we want to have this different energy that we're creating. So let's talk about the law of polarity. So all of this is energy still. So see, there's all these laws in the universe, and when we go to school, you might have learned about the law of gravity, right? Another energy, you know, it goes up, must come down, right? So the law of attraction is energy, the law of polarity is energy. So think of that as it's of an energetic pole, okay, a pole. And on one end is masculine energy, and on the other end is feminine energy. And these 2 energies actually, when they're in their own separate ones, they actually magnetize toward each other. And so then it creates this harmony, and it's this is what I mean. So when I talk about the magnetism in this group here, this round, this class, this challenge, I'm talking about this magnetism of the masculine with the feminine. So how does that happen, right? So, okay, so this is the part where you might want to take notes. And I want to preface this as we all have masculine and feminine energy, and it's all good, and we all need all of it. So as a woman, we need our feminine energy, and we need our masculine energy. And the man needs both as well. So there's different times that we'll use it at different ways. And so there's absolutely no way saying that there's anything wrong with any of it. So I'll explain to you how we use it differently and at its best for us in out of relationship realm and in relationship realm. Okay, so if anybody is joining on, go ahead and say hi and say where you're from. And I want you to continue to own your I am loved, I am amazing, I'm deserving of love. I want you to just own that throughout the whole thing. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and that we're unfolding as we go. So stay with me. Okay, so I'm going to go over different traits of being. So, and then I'm going to give you 2 at a time. So if you want to write down, and then I'll, try not to take too much time. And I won't be able to go all of them that there are, but I wanted to give you a really good core of them. It is when I told you before, when I learned about this, when I was in the corporate job and I learned about these different traits, it really changed my life. And it's really what made me take this element of relationship training and coaching forward. So I created the Awakened Love program. So there's elements to that I work through as an Awakened Love. And it's about creating the relationship harmony and sustaining it. So we have to start somewhere. So I'm taking one element out of that 3 month working with women individually. I'm taking one element, so it's the feminine genius, and I'm giving you as much as I can in these 5 days, an hour each day. So I'll give you as much as I can here. So I'm going to start right here with this to help understand this. So just kind of listen to me and take note. Which of the two traits that I say do you feel like that you're embodied in living in most of the time? And so it's not about, there's not a right or wrong, right? So I just want you to have awareness of yourself and understanding. Okay, so I'm just going to give them to you if you want to write down, and then I'll go back through after I give you a few, and then I'll explain them to you how they work. Okay, so are you more analytical or are you more intuitive? So it's not a judge right or wrong. You can't be right or wrong. It's just understanding yourself, okay? So throughout your day, the most of the time, excuse me, do you find yourself being more analytical, which is kind of like thinking, analyzing things, or do you just follow your intuition, or do you even trust your intuition the majority of the time? Because I know all of these, you're going to be using them at some point throughout your days, but this is your primary place that you find yourself, okay? Are you more independent or are you more dependent the majority of the time? Okay, so just take note of yourself, and if you want to like even write in here, it'd be helpful sometimes if you want to write some stuff. It'll kind of keep track of abilities showing what we've gone through so far. So, okay, so anybody else join, say hi. It's really cool for me that I have interaction because it helps me, it kind of inspires me to keep going, and I know that you're with me here. So I guess I didn't ask you guys to hear me. I trust that you can. Okay. Are you more impatient or patient the majority of the time? I know you have these traits at some point, always have them. Are you more cautious or adventurous? Are you more result-oriented, more about meeting the goal, or more about just enjoying the process and not so attached to the goal, just, okay, if I get it, I don't, but kind of just in the journey, the process of doing a project or creating something? Which do you find yourself more attached to? So your core self, how you show up on a daily basis, and different times you'll show up differently. Are you more competitive or collaborative? Which kind of turns you on more to kind of be in a competition, and does that kind of drive you more, or do you really not like that and just want to be in a team and do it all together and that way? Are you more, I guess this one is kind of the same way. My note here says singular or multi. So it kind of means, a little bit different than competitive, but do you like to do things on your own instead of just having a whole, this would be multitasker. So do you like to just do one thing at a time and get it done and move on? Or, hi Nina. Or do you, once you say hi, where you're from, if you guys are joining as we're going through this here, it'd be awesome to see who's all here and kind of chat with me a little bit. Inspires me too. Do you like to do things on your own, or do you like to multitask and do multiple things at a time? Which do you find yourself in the majority of the time? Are you more decisive or indecisive? There's different times for different things, right? Okay, so how many did I give you there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I say impatient or patient? Are you more impatient or patient? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 8 or so, 8 or 9. Are you more strong, kind of assertive, or Do you not like to put yourself out there? Do you feel like you can't do it yourself? Do you feel, not trusting in yourself? Those things. Okay. So I think that I should explain some of these to you now. So, and I'm going to do this. So the first ones I gave you on each of those, I said to you, so analytical, result-oriented or goal-oriented, independent, cautious, singular, do it yourself, do one thing at a time, decisive, strong, competitive. Those things are what are defined primarily as masculine traits, and it doesn't mean you're a man. It just means the energy behind it, because the masculine energy is more external, so it's kind of more about doing in the headspace, thinking, figuring out, getting it done, that type of thing. And so those are more external. It's kind of like the rational kind of energy, where the feminine traits are the process or being in the journey of things. They don't have to be goal-oriented, more intuitive, more dependent, more patient, adventurous, multitasking, indecisive. And I'm going to explain these. These are not faults, okay? So don't, weak. I'm going to explain these. More of a passive energy, more collaborative. So here's the deal. So here's how these work in a relationship and in the real world career. So when you're out in your career, creating a business, have a job, a single woman, doing it all yourself, you're probably most of the time or throughout the day in the masculine energy, because it's more getting it done and having to figure things out on your own, and maybe being more cautious. Or yes, you have to be very strong. You might have to be more assertive. You might have to be more independent, right? Absolutely. So that's a good thing. But here's the part that I really want you to understand in this, is this is the part that's so important. And so when I was talking to you at the beginning about this evolution journey for women, and that how it's amazing that there's more opportunities and we're awakening women and we have more things and we're getting more things, saying yes to the feminine to be the leaders. What has happened is we have, unbeknownst to ourselves, and because we've pretty much been taught by society to get out there and do it all and be superwoman and do it all ourselves. So we've taken this masculine energy with us to do it all, and we're not understanding that and creating some success and doing really good. But the part that's hurting and why there's relationship disharmony, or why we might be repelling love and the masculine man to us, or why there might be more divorces, is because remember when I talked about the law of polarity, and the two energies, the masculine and feminine, have to be on opposite ends of the spectrum to create the magnetism to love, relationship, harmony. So, as women, trying to do so much, we've kind of gotten disconnected from this feminine energy of ourselves. So, okay, so I want to just explain. So when I was talking to you about the decisive and indecisive, so being in a relationship with a man or going out on a date, it's relationship harmony for him meeting you, or even if you're in a relationship, is allowing him to maybe make decisions for him. We can't help ourselves if we're doing so much on our own and creating business and careers and all that. We're decision makers as well. But in that realm, it's wonderful to allow him to be decision maker. It doesn't mean that we don't help make the decisions. It means that we're not driving the decision. Maybe we're suggesting, what about this or this? So that's a way you can use that. Because when he doesn't feel like the masculine really does want to be the protector, the provider. He wants to be the hero. And so it turns him on, and it magnetizing him to us when he feels like he can be that for us. So when I say independent and dependent, so if we're always showing up, going on a date after work, going home to our man after work, and we're being in this independent energy and doing it all ourselves, and no, I don't need help, and no, I got the groceries, you know, um, we're not demonstrating that feminine energy, so it's not really connecting. And so on a date, if we're like, you know, not letting them open the door or for us, things like that. So you have to understand that that's how we polarize and attract that man to us. So it's about, so when I said strong or weak, okay, so and weak can also be, let me say passive. So I work with a lot of women, and when a woman first comes with me and we talk about this, and we'll talk about where she's at in her life and what kind of career, what she's doing, and things like that. And sometimes I'll, you know, ask these questions, how they're showing up, and or what do they, you know, what do you think of means feminine? And oftentimes, and it's not anybody's fault, but oftentimes women will say they consider it to be very weak. Or if I say, how do you feel about this, you know, being passive? So it's considered weak, but weak. So here's why I want to reframe that for you. We're actually very strong and powerful within us. So this energy I'm talking about, you can't be strong, you have to be a weak woman, and you can't do anything for yourself. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, with the masculine man, we want him to feel strong, to feel like he can provide for us. Because, I mean, really, we do want to be taken care of. And I don't mean that he has to monetarily take care of us, because we can do that as well. But if they don't ever feel or see a place that they can fit in and support us, then it doesn't work. That's why I say when we repel love, it blocks it. That's when he moves on, or there's not a second date. Or if we're talking about that on the dating site, how we're doing all these things ourselves and should be very proud, but it's not filling the space for him. I hope that's making sense. So if somebody would just say, is this making sense? Yeah, I'm getting this. Yeah, I need more information so I can kind of get a pulse of where you're at on it. It would be awesome to hear. And I don't know if I have to refresh my page. So just give me a second, because I can't really see too many comments here. So it'd be awesome if you said a comment to me. So is it starting to make sense? Are you understanding the energies here? Is there any questions about any of them so far? Competitive versus collaborative. So it seems like everything out in the world is pushing us to be competitive. You know, if we're in career, and I mean, it can be motivating to a certain degree, but competitive to a man, yes, thank you. Competitive to a man is just like being with another guy. You know, the sports thing, the energy of that. So we want to hold this space and not show up after our meeting and then go out on a date and be talking shop talk and talking sales and competing like what we're doing there. Or if we're, you know, sometimes we might be getting somebody in the same industry as us, and so we kind of get in that kind of conversation, and it can feel very competitive to him. So it doesn't mean there's not a time for that, but so I'm really setting the stage here for you to understand when we're in conversations, when we're attracting men to our life for the first time, we're meeting them for the first time, when we're wanting to create more harmony in the relationships that we have, we want to understand how sometimes he walks away, doesn't want to talk about it. Maybe he's not feeling that, you know, doesn't want to be talking to it in that way. Wants to feel supported as well. So as we go through the days, I'm going to show you how you can do that more and more. So I wanted to lay this, you know, this groundwork for you. Cautious versus adventurous. So yes, it makes sense as a single woman that we need to have caution, you know, take care of things, maybe taking care of children, taking care of our home, going out by ourselves, right? But when we're in a relationship with a man, meeting a man, if we're being overly cautious, you know, with him, so just hear me in the right way. Not trusting him, we're disconnected with our intuition, so we're just all up here analyzing everything. We're not intuitive and trusting ourselves. and we're being super duper cautious, then it kind of has this energy of blocking, where if we show up more trusting ourselves, so this is going to be the embodiment of the feminine, the intuition, then we can kind of more of a smile and talk more about things that are lively, that enjoy, that kind of bring out things with him, because he's in this headspace all day long as well. That's where he lives. Now, does he go to the feminine energy sometimes too? Absolutely, and we need him to do that sometimes. But generally on the first meeting and certain primary times, it's not there. So he needs us to bring out that adventure, that livelihood, that enjoyment, that laughter, that not so serious side. And it really does feel good when we allow that in ourselves as well, right? But I just want you to understand, right? So is this making sense? I'm not getting too much feedback, so I would really appreciate if you would, ask me questions and tell me if something is not resonating. What else did I point out to you? So I think I said the results, yes, right? Cautious, impatient. So impatient looks like when we're with the masculine or going on a date or wanting to meet them. So the masculine energy is more about getting things done, kind of in that, let's get it done, let's move forward, it's result oriented. So it can be more impatient, like just get to the end result. So if we're being like that too, so we're, at the restaurant and, tapping our foot, or we're order the food and we're, he's sitting here and we're, where's our food? What's it taking so long? And we're kind of in that energy. We're in the same energy. But the feminine is more about being more patient and receiving and being more of a flow and being more in trusting everything is okay, and to kind of like, it's kind of like a leaning back. It's more of an internal lean back and be more of a flow of ourselves, and to allow him to feel that too, because it kind of like allows him to relax, to enjoy us, to feel us, and to feel like, wow, this is really, I really feel good with her. She's, laughing and she's trusting me. She's allowing me to order for her. She's kind of patient, even though I'm feeling like they're taking a long time. It really feels good, so I'm enjoying the conversation. I feel like she's just really open and not asking me 100 questions and being more passive, receiving, not a weak. It's not weak. It's more of a receiving. It's not like you have to have this answer. It's allowing it to flow. It's allowing him to engage. It's asking easy questions. It's not, drilling that. Is this making sense? So it's more the body energy. It's softer. So this is really important. Now, there's several of these traits, and I'll talk more about them as we go forward. But there's several of these traits that are very, very helpful. So I think it would be very helpful for you to go away. I'm going to give you something else to do for but to go away today and to just look at yourself with a, be open. It's definitely not anything wrong at all. So we need to have all of this, right? So, but to understand at the right times, and how can you, and maybe I need to embody just being more in the journey a little bit more, being more adventurous more, being a little bit more, allowing him to make the decision for me, but maybe to help him by giving suggestions, but not having to drive that. To be more of a receiver, and to allow him to be the hero. They really want to provide and protect and be the hero for us, so we need to set that stage. And I'm going to show you more and more as we go through how to embody the energy, but those are descriptions of it to help you just to have awareness. This first day is really about your awareness to just see, and then do I need to maybe embody more of this and let go of some of this, and we'll practice that as we go forward. So as women and out there and single women, and some of the women here in the group have talked about starting their own businesses, or being really career women too, and that takes us out of our masculine or out of our feminine, absolutely, and it's necessary to do that. But the problem is, like I said before, we've gotten too far out of it. So I would like to suggest to allow yourself to to just kind of how you can embody. So the feminine energy is in the body. It's an internal thing. The masculine energy is more external. So how can you allow yourself to be in a quiet space for yourself? So I'm going to give you another exercise on day 3. But right now, I don't know what you're specifically going through, but I know if you're in this group, you're wanting to up-level yourself. So you're going to have up-leveled, nurturing, loving relationships, meet amazing and that treat you well. So if those relationships haven't been going, wonderful for you, and if you've been hurt recently, to just take time to see if any of the traits, if some of that was part of it, but also right now, to kind of just allow yourself to just be in your body and be in your wisdom, and that's resides in the center of your body, right? And in your heart space in the center of your body. But to kind of nurture that a little bit more, we've kind of gotten away from this intuitive side of ourselves. But the truth of it is, all these answers that you might be seeking, you might be wondering what happened and why did it happen, and you're feeling hurt by that, to allow yourself to receive your own knowledge, receive what you need to bring yourself alive again and what you need to do going forward. So this is about honing in on your intuition and your wisdom and cultivating your feminine. It's about really getting in touch with yourself, to really allowing your deep, deep desires of being cherished, to being loved at a very deep level, to be understood, to be heard, to be seen, to be valued, to you to give that to yourself, for you to ask yourself questions and to really listen to the answers. Ask yourself, is there something that I need to forgive myself for? So this is a part where I want you to, removing past the traits and allowing your time, take this away with you today. Ask yourself some really powerful questions. Be in your feminine energy, not trying to think it, analyze it, decipher it, but just, what do I really want? Why do I want this relationship? Why? Is it just because I'm just trying to fill a gap in my life? Or is it something more? What is this something more? To really go deep into your desire, to really create that knowing, because the more you know about what you've experienced, what hasn't worked, what you want, and how to continue to up-level yourself and to listen to yourself and be an embodiment of a deserving woman that can have and be and do and create, co-create. Remember the threesome, to co-create that entire threesome. It is the woman that inspires the man. And the more that you can give to yourself inspiration and listening, the more you're going to create that from the man. But you want to give it to yourself first. So busy life, busy doing everything has taken part of you away from that. And so I want you to reconnect with that. And what is it that maybe needs to be healed? Are you allowing yourself to heal? Are you looking at how you can up-level yourself? Is there certain things that, like I said, you want to forgive yourself for? Think of yourself as a rose. I said this in one of the other challenges that we did. A rose is an energy. So everything is energy, right? A rose is the energy of love. Everything is energy. But you're a rose and you're blossoming. And the more that you give to yourself and give yourself love and understand yourself, the more you continue to unfold and to blossom. And the more that energy exudes from you. And when that energy exudes from you, that is what is the magnetism. So allow yourself quiet time. Allow yourself to write down, to ask the questions, to be in your heart space, to open your heart more. I know the heart gets closed when it's been hurt. It's, that's kind of part of the vulnerability part too. It's some of them when I talk to you, like, say they're afraid to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is a very powerful feminine trait. It is very powerful. So be vulnerable with yourself. Allow yourself to receive from yourself. As you continue to grow with these feminine embodiment traits and practice it more and more, you become more confident in yourself. And so you don't feel vulnerable as in fear of love. You feel like you are the embodiment of love and you attract it to you. So the fear starts to dissipate and you attract the right men to you because you know more about yourself. You know more about what you want. You're more focused on those things so that then when you show up, you know how to relate to him and be in the certain traits that are attracted to him. You walk, you talk, you do this, and you kind of have this charisma around you. It's this energy, it's this light within you. So think of like inside in your womb space, in the center of your body is where the feminine energy resides. And there's a light bulb in there. And the more you connect to that, you know how you turn on a light and it's the filament inside the light bulb that lights up the room? It's not the light coming out of the room into the light bulb. That is the radiance. So the more you soften within yourself, and the way you do this is you get in touch with yourself. You allow yourself time at the end of a busy day to be connected to yourself, to listen to yourself, to hone and grow and cultivate your feminine, which is in the body. It is resides in the body. And I'm going to give you a practice more on how to do this. But right now, today, this first day, I've given you a lot of traits to kind of, you know, be more aware of, to pay attention to. So look at yourself tomorrow, what you're doing, and notice yourself. It's not a judgment, it's not a blame, it's not anything wrong, but just understand more about how everything is energy and how we do that and how we might have gotten disconnected. I definitely got disconnected being in that corporate job and being around that masculine energy all the time, where I couldn't always just be functioning in my head. I wanted to express from my heart, but they weren't having any of that in the board meeting. And so that happens to us. It's not a fault, it's awareness. And the more that we want to be feminine leaders and be in this evolutionary time, we want to continue to create harmony, not to bring that home to our relationship, but to bring home our softness too, and to know how to resonate that back and forth. So in the Awakened Love that I process that I take women through, it's about understanding how to create this and going deeper into these traits and this energy and creating a lifestyle around that. But it's sustaining this. So it's not just attracting it, it's actually sustaining it. So for the women here that's listening and on the replay or joining right now, if you're already married and you want to sustain it and enrich it, this will help too. The Awakened Love is about the sustaining of it. How to, sometimes he'll be more in the feminine, you'll be more in the masculine, but how to resonate back and forth and to practice that energy, that harmony. It will really enrich relationships, and it could actually even bring one back. But it takes time, it takes practice, and it takes awareness right now. So this is extremely important. So, you know, so you're saying yes to yourself now. So give yourself a hug for that. That's what an awakened woman is. She says yes to herself. She's willing to grow and to up level and to be this woman that can be inspiring to others, to be the one that's magnetizing all the goodness, all the love, him, opportunities, abundance in all areas of life to her, because she's understanding it and she's growing a little bit more and more at a time and saying yes to her. So thank you. Thank yourself for saying yes to yourself. So yes. So let me check the time. I'm sure it's getting close. Oh, all right. So is there any questions? Is there any questions? So if I'm missing anything, I don't think I should refresh. So you can gently ask questions if you think about them later. So take away those traits, write them down. Just look at yourself. Just like, okay, I'm being open. Am I being too much of this? Can I be a little bit less of this and a little bit more of this? How do I cultivate more of this? I'm open to learning more. Just say yes to yourself. Continue saying yes to yourself. And then ask yourself some questions. What have I learned from my past relationships that maybe I haven't healed yet from? What do I need to forgive myself for? So this isn't about fixing him, doing anything with him right now. It's about you. Because the better you are, the better the man you'll attract. And the more you'll be coming to understand what happened in the past. But your intuition, your divine guidance, you're a divine feminine being. And you are connected to source energy. And the feminine energy is really an extremely receiving energy if you allow yourself to receive it. If you allow yourself to receive it from the masculine man, if you allow yourself to receive it from yourself, and we're going to do a practice on this, but right now, tonight, you can ask yourself and allow yourself to receive the wisdom, and then it'll help you. It'll grow you. You'll be cultivating. So you're becoming more of who you want to be. So that's a question too. Who do I really want to be in my next relationship? Who do I really want to attract? What are all the things that I want to be co-creating with him? What do I need to let go of? So it's kind of not so much about fixing yourself. A lot of it is about letting go of things. Letting go of things. Letting go of things. So ask those questions. And if you definitely want to hear more about Awaken Love, I'll tell you more about it as the days go on. Awaken Love is a 90-day process that dives deep into the feminine genius, and you're going to get more here, I promise you. But it goes even further into creating a life for yourself, what has maybe blocking in your life. It's about the subconscious. It's about the resonance for the future of sustaining relationships. It's not just attracting them. We want to sustain them. So it's really a deep dive into your life. So you're creating it at all levels, in all of your environment, in all of the beings and things and doings of your life, and to really understanding how to communicate to be in that harmony with him on all levels. So it'll go really deep in that. But tomorrow we're going to talk a lot about pleasure. We're going to talk about flirting. We're going to talk about appreciation, and there's some really powerful practices in this. So just be open-minded to this process and just allow yourself to grow with it, to be in your heart space with it, and to be in your feminine body with it, and to see how you can become more aware of yourself, and to take your intuitive guidance, take it seriously, because it is the genius of your feminine. It is a big piece of your genius, and I'm adding elements to it with you, but that is really a core part of it, in the body, in your intuition, and showing up in that. So I'm excited to come in with you here tomorrow on day 2. We're going to dive even deeper. So is there any questions? You're being awful quiet. I don't see any questions, and I apologize if I'm just not seeing them here. But I'll definitely come back and look. Or come back later if you have something to say. If you watch the replay, I'm saying this for those gals that aren't here, just type in replay so I know that you were here. Go ahead and ask the question. And yeah, so I think that's all. I stayed to my hour. I thank you for those who showed up, those who are watching later. And yeah, much love to you. You absolutely deserve all the love that you desire. So get really deep into that and give it to yourself right now, tonight, and to listen to that. Okay? We're back tomorrow. I'm going to end now. Thanks, ladies. Good night.